Hello?
Hey, how's it going, chap?
Good, good, good. How's things, bro?
Yeah, all good. Can you hear me properly?
Mm.
First of all, I want to take the time to say thank you for taking your time to speak to us today.
No worries, bro.
How's
All good.
how's life been since the Simon Vallely fight?
Yeah, good. Normal, mate. Just normal. Just been training. Just been training, staying ready, really getting on top of things. Just staying in the swing because obviously everything that's going on, you don't know when you're fighting next, kind of thing, or what's going on in the world. So it's just staying on top of the game, just not falling behind. That's all.
Let's go back to that night. Let's go before the fight. What was it like being in that different atmosphere? First of all, the bubble, the 2 meter face off, the press conference that you're not usually with the rest of the other fighters as a normal press
Mm.
conference, then coming out to no crowd. Usually you're used to hearing, first you come out to music, you hear the crowd roaring. How did you adapt to that? Something that no boxer isn't used to nowadays.
Yeah, that was the thing. Really, it was especially because I was on the first fight camp as well. So it was literally the first one for everyone, first one for all the staff, everyone at matchroom, first one for all the fighters, anyone there was it was all a new experience together. So that kind of made it a bit easier that no one really no opponent had a head start on anyone, no one had done it before or whatever. It was all just learning kind of thing. Everyone was just figuring it out as they go, but it was all right. Like you just have to adapt. There's nothing really you can do with it other than figure it out, make do with what you've got in front of you, what facilities you can use, whatever options you have around you, and just crack forward with it. Really, that's the only thing you can do with it, and we did that, and I felt pretty comfortable with it after don't get me wrong, the weirdest day was probably like the first and second day because you get there, you have to get tested straight away, and then you have to go obviously quarantine in your room and lock yourself away in there for a day. So just that day is the weirdest one because you're in the room on your own all day, and as much as you've trained all the way through and you don't have like corona or anything, you're sitting in your room thinking, oh, but if it comes back positive or whatever, then the fight's off and I'm done and I've got to go here and do that and everything. So that's probably the weirdest 24 hours of the whole thing. But once you've moved on from that, really, it just settled in. It was quite a cool experience, to be honest, to be in and around all with boxers and stuff and their trainers and just nice to kind of chill and spend some normal time with some people.
What was your feeling once you came out and you were heading to the ring and it's like, damn, I'm here now. There's no.
Mm.
Did it affect you at all in your thinking, or is it all right? It's time to do the business now and get this done.
It didn't necessarily affect me. I didn't feel like it took anything away too much. It just felt a bit weird, like because other than like when you're in the ring and there's no crowd, that's all right because you're focused on your opponent and you're not paying attention to much else. So you're zoned in. So that everything else is kind of blanked out anyway. But on the ring walk, it's just you and your walk into the ring, and that's the point that I say that people usually kind of soak up the crowd if there is one. So that's the only point that it felt a bit strange. It just felt like there was a little bit missing from it. Like you
Yeah.
take that first step almost, and then everyone starts cheering or whatever when there is people there, and then that wasn't there this time. But like Eddie and the matchroom guys did a great job because fight camp itself was a spectacle. Like it looked great. Like when we first got there and got to see it all, and that it was so cool to look at and just see like because you'd seen all the pictures and stuff of it slowly getting built and the progression and stuff, and then to finally get there, you was like, nah, it made you feel like, yeah, I'm at a proper event here.
Yeah, it's crazy to think the before and after. Like you're in someone's backyard. So
Mm.
Eddie Hearn did such an amazing job with that. And do you know what? As much as I miss the crowd, those events, certain fights, I kind of like hope that when everything goes back to normal, he does a few events like that because the fact that you can hear both teams and like for example the Usyk Chisora fight, you can hear David Hay and Tony
Mm.
and Usyk team screaming as well. I love
Yeah.
that. In football, I don't like it as much, but in the boxing world, I'm kind of loving it. I'm not saying I don't want the crowd to come back, but
Yeah.
it might. It just I love it, especially when the camera goes in the corner and you can fully hear what the team is
Yeah,
saying.
when you can hear everything clean and crisp, that is nice. Like you can hear the shots, you can hear the corner chat and everything going on. It adds an extra element to it, which is good. It gives you more of an inside, almost from sitting at home. You almost feel like you're a bit kind of closer to it.
Yeah. And if anyone is out there that wants to become a boxer or a boxing coach, that those are the fights that they need to watch, and you see what it's like to be a professional right there. So I think it's giving insight to the next generation as well, the future generation.
Yeah, massively.
So that night you won the English heavyweight title. How did it feel? Right, first of many, of course.
Yeah. It felt I like as soon as I won as well, for about a few moments after as well, I completely forgot it was even for a belt. I was buzzing to be at the event and buzzing to just win the fight. And then like I was doing the after bit and you walk around, you get your hand raised, and then I was like, oh yeah, like I got a belt as well. Like that was almost like the icing on the cake. Like I forgot about that bit. But yeah, it was great because that felt like my first like proper real like moment to be like, nah, like I'm here, like I'm a contender, I'm serious, I'm one for the future kind of thing. And yeah, I was happy with that, and I was happy with the performance as well. So yeah, overall it was good, really good.
Yeah, it was a great stoppage as well. You know, you said it in the fight, you know, go the distance, you said it how it's gonna go, and you did it, and you delivered. So it was a great way to win that strap. So I think you kind of made a statement that night and made the division. You put the division alert on alert compared. Well, not just British fighters, to anyone out there. To be honest, the whole ranking basically.
Yeah, definitely. It was, and that was part of it that I wanted to do. Like, he was a good competitor to go up against, and me winning and winning in a good fashion would do that, and that's what I wanted to do is put that notice out there. So I think I've done that.
Can I ask, how has your career sunk in yet? Because your career is quite different to any other fighter. You know, you started off playing football, went to white collar boxing, and then all of a sudden you became pro. You signed with Dillian Whyte, who's a well known heavyweight. Has it sunk in? Have you sat down like one day and just thought, how did this happen like so quick?
No, when you say it like that, no, I don't think I have. I don't think I've really sat there for a second and gone, you know what, look where I was and look where I am, kind of thing. I almost try and stay away from that. I just stay focused on the next goal and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving and just staying on top of me, staying on top of my game, and just getting better and better. Like I have that. As much as that's a great story to come from, it also, I understand that it's a, like I'm still a few steps behind them boys that have obviously done that ABA stuff, or they've been in boxing for a long time. So in the back of my mind, as great as that is, I'm still thinking, yeah, but I've got ground I need to make up. I still need to train just as hard. I still need to, or even harder. I still need to spar just as much. I need to get around and still do all those things that got me to where I am. Because as soon as I take my foot off the gas, or if I slow, that's when that gap gets bigger between me and them guys, and that's when the people coming through catch me up as well. So to me, I've had little moments, like after winning the title and stuff, there was a little moment of, yeah, okay, like we've done something here, like a small pat on the back to myself, like, yeah, okay, cool, and then we just keep moving.
Amazing. I wanted to ask, obviously you're signed by Dillian Whyte. You're part of an amazing stable with Dillian. You're with like Super Yusuf Kamari, Richard Gapor, and plus obviously his new coach Xavier Miller. He's got IQ boxing, and you're around all those like John Harding. What's it like being part of such a great stable, and what's it like being around someone like Dillian Whyte who should be fighting for a world title and will be fighting for a world title in the future?
It's great. It's beneficial because of, for so many reasons, but especially in boxing as a whole, where it is to an extent a lonely sport and you're on your own, really, to then be part of a team that is like so diverse and that can look after you in so many different ways. And if you're, it's not just like, you can go to someone for advice, whether it be in life, whether it be on boxing or whatever, but there's instead of it being like every man for himself kind of thing, you're part of a team or a solid unit that's there to look out for you and there to give you advice, and we all help and when one of us has got a fight, we're always promoting the other. Or if one of us needs sparring or something, we can help someone out. We know a guy who knows a guy, and it's just about extending that arm to everyone that we can. And that's what we try and do, is just try and bring everyone that's connected to us in, because ultimately we're all on the same path, we're on the same journey, and me doing well doesn't diminish anyone else. Like, me doing better helps me pull someone along with me, whether it be someone from the team or whatever. And Dill is obviously the main focal point of all that. That he's brought us all through. He's obviously at the highest point and brought us all up to levels near him and stuff. But he's the one that's really kind of laid that for us. Of, look, it's not about the individual. It's about us as a unit, as trying to help each other out and pulling each other forward. So that's kind of the whole thing with all of us, is that it's just teamwork. It's teamwork, and we all want to see all of us do as well as possible.
That's amazing. You know what? If one of you wins, you all win. You're a team. So that's an amazing attribute to have towards you know what, the team Billy and team boxing, and combined is it's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, massively.
I wanted to ask, you've sparred Usyk before, right? In the future.
Yeah, twice.
Right. Did you watch the Usyk Chisora fight?
Yeah, I watched the fight.
So Usyk will go down as one of the greatest cruiserweights of all time for what he's achieved in the sport. Did you have any doubt when you heard he was going to go up to cruiserweight with your experience of sparring him? Do you think he's too small for that division, or can he cause a problem for the 10 in the world right now?
I like when way before, even when I was sparring him, when he was in he was fighting like Tony Bellew and that. So he was now kind of edging into that area. When people ask me this question, and I always said that he'll be fine up until he gets to the top level. And even then, I'm not saying he will or won't. I'm just saying that's where you'll really see if he can do it or if he can't, because ultimately there's no way to really tell, like, if he could or if he can't, until you see him in there with those Joshuas, with those Furies, with those Dylans, and them type of big guys that have been competing at that high level for a long time. So that's the only way to really know. But I was slightly surprised, more so with his weight when he came in for the Chisora fight. I thought he'd be at least 16 stone, something like that. But again, like, for him and his style, it fits perfectly. So that's, if he was maybe like almost like a Gassiev, where he almost relied on being a massive puncher down at cruiserweight, and then he moves up to heavyweight and then tries to rely on that again, you may see earlier on that it may not come off. But whereas with him, he's based fully on that boxing skill, that in and out. You can do that with a big heavyweight, and if in some cases a big stiff overweight heavyweight may even work in your favor, having that kind of style against someone who's not as light on their feet, not as quick to the mark. So again, like I say, it just takes time really to see. But I think he'll be fine until he gets up to them high levels, and then we'll really see what he's got in the tank.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I agree with what you. I saw the 3 stone difference between the two. I thought, oh, that's a big gap right there. I think Usyk will be comfortable if he on another stone at 16 stone, maybe 16 and a half. I think then you got to think, would it slow him down? Because would he have enough in the tank with an extra stone and a half? So time will tell.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's working well for him now, but if he does put that weight on, will it take away from him? Will it sap his legs? That's what I mean by, you're just kind of going to have to wait and see, and how he plays it really, and what he does with it.
100%. Wanted to ask you as well. So you had an up and coming fight against former world champion, interim world champion, Lucas Browne. But there was news that he pulled out of the fight. Was it the that he pulled out, or did something happen?
The fight was all signed, sealed, like it was done. Everyone was happy with everything. Everyone was briefed on how it would work and what was going to go on, and everyone was cool. And then maybe not 5-6 days later, I get word from the team that he's disputing things about flights and corona and like quarantine time and things like that. All stuff that he was previously briefed on before he signed in and said it was good to go, and then now at the back end of it, when it's getting closer and things, he's saying that, I don't want to do it because of this, I don't want to do it because of that, and just asking for loads of extras and things like that. Whereas where like Eddie and the team and stuff had already near on bent over quite a bit to get him over here in the first place. Like, the flights from Australia aren't cheap like that, and they were happy to fly him out, his team and everything, get everyone over here and just get it all going. And it just seems that every time they kind of figured out an obstacle to overcome, he came up with a new one. So to me, it clearly says that he didn't really want it. That maybe it sounded big on social media for him to hype it up and big it up and say he's going to do this to me and do that and call me this name and that name. And then when it gets a bit closer to the crunch time, you kind of see him get cold feet on it a ball and run the other way.
Yeah, with when I heard that you was fighting Lucas Browne, and the first time I heard it was through Eddie Hearn on IFL TV, and when I heard that, I thought, wow, that's actually a big fight. Right, you could say Lucas Browne, 40 years old or whatever, he's only lost twice in 31 fights, I think it is. He only lost to Team Whyte and he lost to Dave Allen. So he's still a dangerous fight. Thing is, Dillian, you could tell he wasn't on it. With the Dave Allen one, I was shocked. I was at that fight. I actually had Lucas to win that fight. And
yeah, he was winning all the rounds.
Yeah, so Dave pulled out a shock right there. But I was happy for Dave. You know, he's a likable character.
Yeah, nice guy.
But when I heard this fight, that's a big fight for Fabio. So that's I can't wait for that. What I was disappointed with was, for me, some people may agree, some people won't. I think that's more of a main event than Conor Benn fight, in my opinion, because this is Lucas Browne is quite a big known name in weight division, and despite being undercard, main event, whatever, after now obviously the Dillian Povetkin fight is over. When I heard, and I only heard that it was cancelled through you this morning, because I heard rumors online and I couldn't believe it. So I had to get the final word if it was 100%. And then I'm seeing online there's rumors of other opponents have been thrown in there. Is it true that you've been offered maybe Cash Ali or Nick Webb?
Yeah, they're names that have been thrown to me, and like I say, I've said yes to all of them. So we're waiting on responses, waiting to see what they say and stuff, and just hopefully something comes off. Really, like I said in the beginning, I don't mess around. Like, I stay ready, I stay in the gym, I stay on top. So when these calls come and say do you want to fight this person, blah, blah, whatever, I can always say yes. I'm good to go. Like, I don't wait around. Like, I believe in that. My job is to be a professional boxer. That is my job. Like, so my job is to be in shape, is to be ready, is to, when the phone rings, I'm good to go. It's not to come with this excuse or that excuse, or I need this or I need that. It's to do my job. And again, a lot of that comes from being with Dylan, being around him, that he won't let you kind of slack off. Like, if he thinks like you're going too soft on it, or you're going too easy with it, or if you're kind of resting a bit, he'll be on you like, no, there's way more to do. Like, you've just started. Like, keep it up, keep going. And he won't. And even if like fights are offered, if he thinks that you can do it, he'll say it to you. That's why when we spoke about the Lucas Browne thing, a lot of people said that was a massive step for me to go from where I was to then fighting someone like Lucas Browne. And me and Dill sat there like, no, like, we can, like, that's doable. Like, we can do that. That's not a problem. And we have that same ethos of like we take all comers. If anyone wants it, they can get it. Like, it's fine. There's no problems. Like, I'll be ready. I'll be in shape, and all I ask is you do the same. But yeah, so we've put names out there. We've put kind of feelers out there for people and stuff. So it's just about what they say, really.
100%. To be honest, when I've interviewed anyone that is associated with the even if before being with Dylan, they like to be like, you know what, anyone can get it if they want it. That from him, and that's what I love about all fighters that he's got, and he's stable. Is part of IQ boxing. All the same, they will fight anyone, anywhere. And I see the thing I love about Dillian Whyte is he reminds me of that old school 90s era kind of boxer where he'll just fight anyone.
Yeah.
Not these. No, I'll be frank. None of these Wilders or any of these that just make excuses and it's all about money. It's all about this. He'll fight you if it's right. If he believes that he'll progress from that fight, we'll do it. And that's what I love about Dillian Whyte and anyone associated with him. So, and that boxers should look at him and even the future boxers that are coming up in the rankings or starting off, they need to be like that. If you want to go far, that's the way to do it. It's like Teofimo Lopez. He said everyone wants to be like Floyd, but before being Monday Mayweather, you got to be like Pretty Floyd. So that's the way to go forward.
Yeah, and exactly. And like I say, that a lot of it, like at no point anyway was I ever saying no to anyone. But he's that extra back and forth behind you to be like, no, we're doing these things. We're not the team to say no. We say yes, and we take all opportunities when they come. And especially like in a time like this as well, where like I feel genuinely lucky to even be able to get in the ring professionally and fight, because with everything going on, I know like small hall fighters who haven't fought in probably about a year, and they don't know even when their next fight will be. Like, and then you've got fighters saying no to this fight and saying no to that fight. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what's your job exactly? Like, what's going on? But there's, like I say, the game's the game, really. Sometimes some people aren't all the way through with it.
Each their own, but you, Dillian, and the rest will be the type of fighters that will be remembered more than these fighters that are saying no because of cash or if it's not right for them, or if deep down they know they don't want that smoke. That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
Before I let you go, Fabio, Eddie Hearn obviously was on IFL. He mentioned the Lucas Browne fight, but it was not the first time he's mentioned that he wants to make you versus Dave Allen for the British title. Has there been talk about this? And how are you excited for a potential fight with Dave Allen for a British title?
Yeah, there's been talk about that for a while, to be honest, since the beginning of the year almost. It's been something that it just seems like the paths of me and Dave are just like pointing towards each other, and we are going to get there eventually. It will happen one way or the other. But obviously, with everything going on, it kind of slowed down the process for everyone, not just our careers, but everyone and just boxing as a whole. So yeah, it's definitely something that's been spoken about, like between me, the team, and Eddie and stuff. And I know Dave's been pretty vocal about saying that's the fight he wants for the British title and stuff down the line. So yeah, we've just got to wait for a few things to play out. We've got to see how Daniel and Joyce goes and see what they do, if who wins that and what they do with the belt, etc. But yeah, it seems like kind of that it's definitely going to happen at some point down the line. It's kind of early next year, at some point, I think.
That's an exciting fight, and I would love to see that. Another fight I've always said after your last fight, and there was mention of Dave Allen. I personally think that a fight with David Price will be good for you as well.
Yeah,
and I think that'll be an exciting fight, especially that Price beat Dave Allen. So I think it should be Price's name ahead of Allen's right now to fight you as well. But a Dave Allen fight would be a really good fight as well.
Yeah, I think so. Either of them will be good fights. They're good names, and they'd be good, like a good scalp to have on the record, regardless. So yeah, either of them I'd be happy with.
100%. Fabio, I want to, on behalf of me and the guy, say thank you for taking your time to speak to us. We wish you all the luck in the world for your career and next fight, and we look forward to seeing you in the ring again.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Take care. Stay safe.
No worries. Laters.